Yeah, I can quickly do it. Hello and welcome to the September 23rd edition of the planning meeting for the Contributor Summit for North America 2024. Please adhere that this meeting is by the Code of Conduct of the Kubernetes community, which in short means be nice and excellent to each other. Out of the line, we have today Bob with us. And Bob is going to talk a little bit about Maintainer Summit and the concept of Maintainer Summit for the future after North America 2024.
Hey folks, sorry I haven't been able to attend these much. It's lots of conflicts. But I wanted to give a update on, well, as Mari mentioned, the potential shifting from a Kubernetes Contributor Summit to a more broad CNCF Maintainer Summit. This has been something that's been discussed in the past for, I think, almost like 2 years now in one way or another. The main thing that I just want to say, like, up front, well, Brianna, I know you mentioned it, but like Kubernetes will retain everything that it has right now. The main sort of change would be it would, instead of being a Kubernetes Contributor Summit, Kubernetes would have its own track within a larger maintainer summit. They would still be able to have, multiple rooms, have their own program committee, own t-shirt, own group photo, all that stuff. The way the sort of rest of it would look is we're looking to open it up to essentially be graduated projects, incubating, graduated projects could submit CFPs, attend, and have be on the program committee, be potential chairs. The similar thing would be with the CNCF, like TOC, same sort of thing. The incubating projects, they'd be able to attend, and incubating maintainers, as listed in the project maintainers CSV file in the CNCF Foundation repo, they could submit CFPs, be on the program committee, and so forth. And then for sandbox projects, only those listed in the maintainers file, again, CNCF Foundation repo, would be able to attend. And this was part of the reason, like, been thinking about this is, frankly, the Kubernetes Contributor Summit attendance has also been going down a little bit, and we're seeing more and more people that are, frankly, involved in more than just Kubernetes. They're involved with multiple projects, lots of graduated and incubating projects. And so for that and a variety of, reasons, like sharing, best practices, covering a lot of the projects have a lot of, similar issues. It seems like it, really makes sense to push towards going to, like, in the direction of a maintainer summit. The big thing is it would be, it would not clash with colos. So it'd continue, that trend. Let's see, I'm trying to think of other stuff that I'm potentially missing. The other big change is that there would be sponsors, but we are looking to make sure it's done in a, respectable way. So that way, and this is mostly just to, like, make sure that we can continue to have it on a separate day. The sponsor stuff for would be like a sponsor benefit would be a maintainer job board. So we'd have a job board at the maintainer summit specifically for vendors, or sponsors that are looking to explicitly hire maintainers. And a lot of the other benefits we're looking to mostly target towards, potentially KubeCon bonuses, because that's a larger audience that people would like to hit. Yes. Um, Registration would be handled by the CNCF. We'd be electing. We'd follow the CNCF pattern of electing the chairs from the projects to start. Though so like for year one, we're looking to pull in a bunch of people from that have been involved in the Kubernetes Contributor Summit just because of you know prior experience. um, and then we'd start the process of electing probably um, 2026. Does anyone have any questions so far? I know I've been sort of just talking off the top of my head here. Xander?
Has CNCF done any estimations on what attendance numbers would look like based on projects, maintainer numbers, and such?
Yes, but it is honestly not like we'd have to cross-reference with like who's actually attended. We've sort of like ballpark guesstimated, and you know, my guess for to start will probably be, around like 500.
Sure. And
Um,
then follow-up question to that. I'm guessing the social event would be a joint social event among all of the attendees of the entire maintainer summit. Then
yep.
does that uh, thinking about that, would CNCF continue to pursue similar venues that we've looked at in
The
the past for social venues, or would that move to more of the like, a space within the hotel
it would
or
probably be a space within the hotel and all that.
okay,
Um, and that's mostly just because of logistics.
logistics, I'm
You
guessing,
know,
yeah.
we'd still want to have it be like, mixer more essentially guaranteed, networking time. Um, but that is kind of like we've now discussed this with steering. And steering has generally given the thumbs up. We wanted to like sort of phase talking to like the broader audience, get steering, and like I'm planning on bringing this up at the next like chair and TL meeting, um, before we start, just large scale comms about it. And then there is a maintainer summit in India, but that one is kind of like a more lightweight ish type one that is more like it's not necessarily a full vision of what the maintainer summit would be for future ones, just because it's putting it together on a much shorter timeline. And also just trying to get the word out to more maintainers. So we're sort of expecting that one to be smaller in a number of sides.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think Sandeep actually has a smaller version of the question I was going to ask, right? Which is that I, this event historically has been run by a Kubernetes team.
Yep.
Something we're able to do because it's within Kubernetes, and we have a system for training up new people to work on it, etc. How is this maintainer summit going to be organized in the future?
As far as things like something the program committee and all that, those will sort of follow a announcements to the maintainer lists. As far as the volunteer ops, that is not being pursued. Kubernetes can do it themselves if they want to, but at a broader ecosystem level, it will function more like KubeCon, where there will be just general LF staff support, but not necessarily people watching the like to be there at the things to keep track of time and all that. If that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, it would mean an increase in staff. I mean, there's always going to mean an increase in staffing.
Yep.
By paid staff.
That is known.
Okay.
Mario?
Yeah, my question would be when we have to change that. So I assume that because then more rooms, more tracks for the different projects. So in total, basically, more space of the whole KubeCon summit would be already taken. Would this also mean that basically all of the rooms would get a recording? Because we already have the room. So would this also mean that more sessions could be recorded?
The one thing that like probably wouldn't still is the unconference sessions, but like
sure.
we are looking to make sure that things are recorded, and there will continue to be unconference, and planning to essentially run it similar to how it's run right now with GitHub issues. It'll probably wind up switching to like GitHub discussions because of the upvote, downvote. So yeah, in its current form, North America will be the last KCS before it sort of becomes part of the bigger maintainer summit.
Any other question? If not, thank you so much, Bob, for clarifying. I know that this topic was especially hot discussed the last time here, and also to basically bring it to the current contributor group first before the official comms go out, so that we don't have to read it in the newspaper.
No, we definitely want, like, we want essentially, like, it's the same reason why we're pulling. We want like former KCS people to be involved in the first sort of bootstrapping of all this. We've built up the prior experience in all this.
Yeah.
Awards would still be the project would still be able to design the awards however they like. So you could still have them be like whatever logo, anything like that. Again, the only thing I think that would really change in terms of offerings is what Xander brought up in terms of the, it potentially not being an offsite location for a social, but instead being on site. But like awards, shirts, all that stuff is, as a graduated project, like essentially all the benefits for graduated projects was decided by looking at what the KCS is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So as comms, they will essentially go out the standard, send out to the maintainer lists. The projects will be like if Kubernetes wants to have its own set of comms, like it can still have its own website with everything and all that, like just like we do right now. So there can still be a team to send that out and send out like additional reminders and and such. Plus, we'll still want to handle the awards and things like that.
So basically, it would mean that we still need an events team, more or less. Kubernetes itself still needs an events team because it needs to handle a couple of things.
Yeah, like there's still, yeah. Kubernetes is a different beast because it's so much bigger.
Yeah.
So there will still be a form of the events team in a much more sort of smaller form, and it's mostly on coordinating the awards, shirts, and all of that stuff. and any additional comps that want to go out.
All right. Any other question? If not, for India, we are sending out comms only for the Kubernetes track while CNCF handles overall comms. That's my understanding. Please correct me if I'm wrong here.
We're sending stuff to Kubernetes, but like we're dumping just general comms and like INDev because there's more than just Kubernetes project in there.
All right, I need to jump. Thanks again, Bob. Thanks for the clarification. Thanks everyone for the questions. Please continue with the meeting. Shaw, thank you for taking over. I need to drop.
Hope your cat's okay.
We will see. The vet is coming, so he just pulled over. Let's see. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brian. Okay, final, open any final questions for Bob before we move on? All right. Thanks, Bob. Then with that, I'll hand over to Brienne for the CNCF update.
All right, so let's see, shifting back, we have some updates. Last week we selected our venue for the celebration. So I did reach out to the flanker and we do currently have the contract. We are reviewing it with our team and we should be able to have that signed and finalized by the end of this week. So then we can start sharing that information with everyone. So it's pretty exciting. I think it's going to be an awesome venue for this. I'm excited for it. Also, it looked like from the last time I double checked, it looked like the t-shirt color winner was navy. So I guess we're going with navy shirts. And I will get those ordered this week based on the answers and sizes that everybody selected in the registration. So we will get those ordered and situated. Also, quick update, our signage order has been placed. So I'm just waiting to get the proofs and review so that I can share the drafts with everybody so we can review those. Unfortunately, our budget for our signage was kind of cut, so we did have to go a little bit less, but I still planned very carefully and made sure that we have everything covered. So I'm not worried. I think we have plenty of directionals and everything. And since it's just us there on Monday, I think that'll help also. So those were kind of my main updates for today. I don't really have anything else unless anybody has any questions for me right now. All right, Josh, your turn.
Thanks.
Yeah, not a lot. We're mostly mostly waiting for other things to happen before we can take action. I'm waiting for the hat vendor to get back to me with what the base cost of the hats is going to be. And waiting for us to publish the pre-programmed session schedule so that we can do our big call for volunteers.
All right. Any questions for us before we move along? Yeah. Thanks, Josh. Nitish.
Hi there, everyone. So we have some updates from the content team, and I would like to get started with the same. So the first update is that all the CFPs have been reviewed. There were a total of 33 responses so far, and we have reviewed all the CFPs. I would like to thank the content team as well as Josh for helping us reviewing the CFPs alongside. Some things that I want to mention here is that if you look at the point number 2 that I've mentioned, that the content team has already reached out to speakers with some additional requests because we thought that some sessions could be merged together. So we have asked for speakers' details and whether they would be willing to combine their sessions, something like that. So we're still waiting for their responses so far. And I think once we get that, we'll be having the final accepted list of the speakers. Having said that, this time a lot of great proposals have been to KubeCon, KCS NA as compared to KCS EU. So even though a lot of talks looks very charming to us, we have to reject some of the talks because of less number of spots. Third thing that I want to basically mention that we'll have the final list of the speakers by end of this week, which means by Friday. A little bit delays because we are also dependent upon the basically the response from the speakers. So once we get that, we are final that whether we need to get this talk accepted or not. And you can also see that the schedule has already started preparing there on the sheet. But when it comes to schedule, I want to have some certain question that I want to get clarified. The first basic question is that we have seen that a lot of sessions that have been submitted, not a lot of session, but quite a session that have been submitted to the summit are by WGF2F or maybe SIG-F2F meetings or maybe sub-project face-to-face meetings. That being said, we do not have much slots to accommodate all of them. So the first basic question is like, what should we do in case? Yeah. Okay, I can complete the, and then I think everyone can respond to that. The second question that I have is like, if we look at the schedule, we have again, the slots, same slots, like 35 minutes will be a general session in which 25 minutes will be allotted for the talk and 10 minutes will be basically to move to one place from the venue to another place from the venue. I recently confirmed with, I think, one of my shadows, and I think I was informed that I think we're not following this approach, but I just want to confirm that whether we are actually following the 35 minutes approach or are we willing to have a session of around 30 minutes and not 35 minutes? Because if we reduce it to 30 minutes, we are eventually going to get some specific free time that we can, use for some other talks to accommodate. Last thing that I want to ask is that if we look at the schedule as well, we have 45 minutes at the last to be spared. It's generally the free time. But I was just wondering if we could, postpone, not postpone, but if we could shift the previous sessions like the CNCF Q&A session to maybe something, maybe 30 minutes later so that the last of the 45-minute sessions can be covered as well. Of course, the free time of 15 minutes, I think, can be a good one for people to move from the venue to the celebrations. But I think 45 minutes is a time that maybe we can use some amount of time to have a session scheduled in some room before that. So I just want to have these 3 questions answered from the summit stream itself.
I'm having trouble finding that schedule planning spreadsheet that we had, but I thought every 45-minute session was covered, and there were some that were blanked off for sessions because there was something going on for everybody that we need to reserve that time. Do you have the link to?
Yep, I have actually attached it there. So if you see.
So which 45-minute block were you referring to?
If you see the last session, which is around like, yeah, we basically, let me see. Yeah, basically, if you see at the last 3 minutes, we have around 60 minutes, right? So eventually we are having the session around like 6 p.m. and then we have it for like we have mentioned it as a free time. So I'm just wondering about that. If all the sessions, when we start from the CNCF Q&A and then awards, and then group photo, and then we can shift it a little bit so that we can use this a little bit of the time to accommodate some sessions that could be fit for the summit as well.
Oh, so 6 p.m. The free time is just to note that there's space between when the conference ends and when we're having our celebration. So I don't think we want to extend the length of the event. If anyone has any thoughts on that, please speak up. But typically, I think we only go to 6, and then everyone needs a little time to head back to hotels or whatever before the evening event takes place.
Yeah, there needs to be a little buffer window there.
That said, it doesn't say this. What it says the celebration at 9 p.m. Is that correct?
Oh, yes.
I had reached out to the venue for the celebration from 5 to 8 p.m. That's what we've done the past 3 events. But we can certainly shift it 6 to 9 p.m. if we need to.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, because at least right now with that schedule, we're doing the awards at 5 p.m. and then the group photo at quarter after. So having the celebration be that full 6 to 9 block.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. And it's only about, when I looked it up, it's like a 10-minute walk, 7 to 10-minute walk from the conference center. So it's very close.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I don't think we can push any later than what we have right now. As far as having more sessions than time slots, that I guess that's kind of always the challenge with content is you need to make a call at some point of what's going to be part of that content and what's not. It's never fun to turn down people that want to talk, but if we don't have the space, then we'll just have to do that. So that's even after these potential sessions getting merged together, there's still more than what we have time for?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
You were saying that there are some sessions where you reached out to the people involved, seeing if they could be combined.
Yeah.
So even if they do combine some of those sessions, we still have more.
We still have more because we actually have a lot of sessions that can be accepted, but we cannot include all those sessions. So we were planning that the session is relevant to maybe something like this, and maybe if they would be willing to combine this, then it can be a better fit, something like that. But if just want to mention that if the speakers do not want to combine the session, then unfortunately we have to select only one of the sessions from either 2 or maybe the slots that have been provided to us. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if what we're going to have to do, if we have more sessions than we have time slots available, we're just going to have to pick which ones we're going to accept based on.
And I would.
Go ahead, Josh.
Having more session proposals than time slots is actually a good thing. I mean, I know how hard it is to say no to people. On the other hand, it does mean that, we're in a position of selecting for quality in a way that we're not in previous KCSs where we had difficulty getting enough sessions.
Makes sense. And so just want to shed some light on the first point again. There have been bunch of sessions related to SIG face-to-face or maybe WG face-to-face. We need not to accept all of those sessions. Is that correct? if we have only slots left, then maybe we can.
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, I think the LTS people submitted 3 different things,
Exactly.
and we don't need to take them all. I mean, those are probably ones you were pinging them about combining anyway, but we certainly don't need to take them all. Particularly, there was one of them that was submitted where it's about something that they just proposed online, and mostly the answer they're getting to that proposal is no. So it could end up being a very short session if we took it. So so yeah, I mean, that's one of the things you look at, right? Is like, hey, these are all cool, but all of them are about LTS, or all of them are about um attracting contributors, or all of them about the same topic, basically. And if you can't combine them, then you'd say no to some of them.
Okay, got it.
And we do have, the unconference slots are not set yet. So
Anything else on that, Natish? Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. Next is comms. I don't see Caslin in the list. Was someone covering for comms?
Yeah, so hey everyone, I am Sandipan. I am a comms shadow, and today I'll be filling in for Kathleen. So, from the comms side, the unconference issue open email has been sent on September 16th, and we have the CFP notifications email scheduled for September 29. The drafts are ready, but though they still need to be reviewed. And on October 2, we have the unconference reminder email scheduled, and on October 8th, we have the leads only SIG callouts for leads scheduled, assuming that we are still doing this. And for October 9th, we have the call for volunteers and registration reminder email scheduled. And up next, we have 8 additional comms scheduled in October, including schedule, social, and meet and greet emails. The dates that are to be discussed. And final registration reminder and know before you go are planned for November before the Kubernetes Contributor Summit, and the post email post event email are to be scheduled after the Kubernetes Contributor Summit is over. So is there any comments, questions, any requests for comms for this week?
Is there anything the comms team needs from anybody else?
yeah, I'll draft up in the next couple of days. I'm going to draft up the notice for, please put yourself down in the volunteer schedule. We have the one from last year, but I want to actually, or not last cycle, but I want to actually make some changes this time around.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the update. Move on to social, Lysander.
Yeah, things are going good. Spent some time with Drew last week, kind of drafting up a design for the jigsaw puzzle. Happy that we have a social venue now. So got a rough draft of the design, which I'll throw up in the Slack channel right after this meeting. It's like the 50 characters kind of looking out at the Salt Lake, which I think is fun. And yeah, since Karen is on this call, love that the 50 characters like exist and are part of the CNCF, and they've provided like I don't know, infinite fun for the community, and I've used them multiple times now for social activities, and yeah, love them. So thank you for that. Yeah, I'll like I said, I'll throw that design up there for some feedback. There's no text on it yet, but we can certainly add that. Yeah, things are good there. Yeah, that's all from me.
All right, thanks. Savita.
Hi, yeah. So we have a total of 108 registrations, and we have only 5 staff registered. So if you haven't registered, the link is at the top of this agenda. Please feel free to register at your earliest convenience. That would be all from me, my team. And I just want to give a shout out to all the registration shadows. Last week was a little brutal for me, and I was absent, but then they did things on their own, and here I am presenting their work. So thanks, everyone.
Great to hear about the team.
I have one question. So Savita, like if I'm registered for the KubeCon and then I try to register for the KCS, then I don't need to use any staff code, correct?
You would still need a staff code, I think. The link is in the. So when you click on the link, that is like, let me just post the link here on the chat. So if you click on this link here, it will ask you to register for KCS, and there it will ask for a code. And I
Okay.
will put the code in there as well in the things Ray's ahead of me. I'm just gonna, yep, thanks, Ray. So I'm just, so when it asks for the code, please add this one so that it gets properly tagged.
Okay. Actually, I already registered for the KCS, and apparently some 10 days back. So it did not ask any code or anything. And my registration is still shown as pending.
Okay. I can check the registration sheet to see if your name is there. If not, I think I can follow up with Brian. Okay, so we I don't think the CNCF has gone and added or sent the approval mails yet. So they should be doing it probably soon, and you should be seeing the mail. We have approved on our end, so now CNCF has to go and send the approvals. Like added, they have a C event if I'm not wrong. So from there they have to do some magic, and the email gets sent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That's what
I was
that's
out
what I'm
last
saying.
week. So,
Yeah,
sorry, I
that
was
I
out
was
last
actually.
week. I was just gonna say I was out last week, so I haven't had a chance to go in yet and send the approval emails for what was updated last week. So that's on my itinerary for later this afternoon. So if you registered last week, then you should be getting it later today.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say because I'm already registered for the KubeCon, I did not have to provide any code at all. That is what puzzles me.
So I think when you register using staff, it helps us track primarily, and I have never tested the other path where I'm an attendee and I could just. I mean, when I was an attendee, I could always register, and that's so. If you are also a staff, it will automatically get approved. It wouldn't wait for additional things, I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so regular, if you registered as just a regular attendee, it would not have asked for a code. The only time it would ask for a code is if you register as a staff. So you probably just registered as an attendee.
Yes, correct. I think I'll modify and re-register if it allows me, but I don't think it allows.
I think they might be able to change it on our end. Is that
Yeah,
right, Brian?
I
Yeah.
can change it on my side.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And just a note for anybody that hasn't registered yet, in the Summit staff Slack channel, if you looked at the pinned messages, I believe it's the first message is the one that has the links to the registration with the codes and everything, like what's in the Zoom chat right now. So if you're looking to do that later, that's where you can find it easily. And yeah, it's free either way, but it does help if you register as staff, so that just for tracking purposes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Let's see, anyone here covering for the meet and greet?
I could take that, but then there's actually no updates in terms of the meet and greet. We're still waiting for detailed plans from the CNCF, and then we'll start working after we get those plans.
So
Yeah.
I know it's in the project pavilion. There was some back and forth of who was actually responsible for, like, who was responsible for actually coordinating it, and that should be resolved now.
Awesome. Okay, then Mars, any updates on awards?
Yes, we got this. We started to work on our design. We got a design selected last week, so we need to put all the names and reasons for nominations on all the awardees. The work is in progress. It will take a while, but I hope to finish in a week or two. So we will have time. I think the deadline to print them is 2 weeks before the event. So hopefully we will finish way before that.
Nice, thanks. I don't have any updates on the swag. I think we touched on that earlier. And what's the one for? I'm not sure what the entry is.
I do have a quick question for you. Is there any resource where we actually have everybody's GitHub handle here on staff, or is that something I'm going to need to collect?
It is captured in the registration, I believe.
Okay, but if people haven't registered, we won't have it. So, but that'll be nice. If I can get that information from registration, then I just need to follow up with a few people. Okay.
Yeah, good.
So actually, quick update, do people here have a preferred date time? Because essentially it looks like we can just have to specify it.
Oh, for the meet and greet?
Yeah. Oh, it does look like there's other potential scheduled items in there, but like,
yeah,
if there's a preferred day and time, we can check.
Yeah, it would be nice to move it up in the schedule, because one of the drawbacks to always having it on Friday has been that attendees of the meet and greet who find out that there's something they're interested in, then have no chance at that KubeCon to follow up on it. So if we could actually, let's see, this conference goes Wednesday to Friday. So if we could actually have it on either Wednesday or Thursday, it would be better. In terms of people's availability, having it around lunch is actually probably still good, assuming that it's possible for people to grab lunches and bring them back to the area.
It'll be in the project pavilion, so there'll be people
okay,
doing
so
that
then
sort of stuff too.
So that would be perfect, actually.
Yeah,
right. It's just because for us folks who are staffing the tables, it's hard for a lot of people to get away except during lunch. So
yeah,
the so just if lunch Wednesday or lunch Thursday was possible without conflicting with something that would be a major problem. Probably not Wednesday, because I bet George is going to be doing a bunch of tours on Wednesday. Maybe Thursday.
Chief will also, like, essentially the project pavilion, when we don't have other things, will be like me, Chief, and George there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm just saying, I'm thinking about what we're going to conflict with and everything else, right? Like,
yeah.
The tours of the project pavilion are still going to be a thing, yeah?
Yep, and those will be going on the entire time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Wednesday lunch will be major tour time for the Project Pavilion. And obviously we're making this, we're gonna need Caslin to sign off on this, right? But that does kind of suggest that Thursday lunch might be the ideal opportunity for the meet and greet.
Well, I'm passing this on and we'll get back.
Mm-hmm.
There's a design entry in the agenda. I'm not really sure what that was about. Maybe the t-shirts, but it's Mario and Caslin, and neither one of them, unfortunately, are here right now. So I guess anything else for today?
Yeah, real quick question. I'll need Caslin to answer this for the meet and greet. But Xander's here and Ray is here for this. So when we do the push for volunteers to sign up for specific shifts, I'd like to include both the well, actually, we only need a few volunteers for the social, and it's probably better if those people are part of the main summit staff. So really, I guess it would just be the getting signups for the meet and greet, because in the past we've wanted to have a few volunteers in addition to the people who are tabling for the meet and greet, because we haven't had that in the past and it's been painful. But so I'll follow up with Caslin about that. But Xander, do you want to confirm what I said about the social? Because you do need, at least in my experience, a few people to staff the door, but
yeah, I
probably
threw a
better
thumbs
if
up
those are
emoji
main
on
summit
there.
staff. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely want a couple. Just, it really only needs to be one or two folks to staff the door for the initial wave and confirm plus ones. We'll have the list of plus ones that were submitted to check folks in there, and then help with CNCF staff at the door to get folks checked in. Yeah, sounds good. ACK.
Okay.
Any other topics, questions, concerns, observations? Okay. And I think we're good for this week. Thanks, everyone. Feel free to bring up anything in the Slack channel during the week. Otherwise, see you next week.
Later on.
Thank you.